This is the journey to one Africa.
How do Nigerians feel about the independence of Nigeria?
Yeah, okay. Who goes first?
Anyone.
Who goes first? Okay.
Obviously, GP will be the last and the least.
Okay. All right. So I think I should be going there. All right. So thank you very much for having me on the show. I will be quick. I will be direct to the point. Nigeria. I'm still quite young, and but in the little time I've spent in Nigeria, I'll be able to do my research about the country. So first of all, I'm happy to be a Nigerian. I'm happy that the founding fathers were very smart. If you look at the case of South Africa, Zimbabwe, and these countries who fought with apartheid, you know that even after they got their independence, they still struggle. So I'm so happy we had very good founding fathers. They had likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, and and Obafemi Awolowo. So I'm so happy that Nigeria is not experiencing what these countries are experiencing. I'm so happy that we got our independence so fast, and it was quite easy. There wasn't much bloodshed. So now the problem is that because this election has really brought a lot of, because normally Nigerians, we're just happy people. If you see Nigerians anywhere, is dancing. That's how we are. Even though we have problems, we're always dancing, we're always happy. So nobody really really understood the concrete history behind Nigeria. But I'm so happy that people like this election and people like Bola Tinubu has been able to allow people of my age to go back to history. And the problem with Nigeria is that why we are quite different from every other African country is that during the independence, there was no consensus among the tribes to actually become free. Now, I will explain. Nnamdi Azikiwe, that is from the south, mostly people from the south, championed independence, but there was a kind of clap back from the north, because the north feared domination. That's a problem. So that's why in Nigeria you still have a lot of internal conflicts. They still fight themselves because a certain part of the country wanted the white people to stay. They were like, we're not ready for independence. We cannot go. If we go, the South will dominate us. So that's what separates us from other African countries. That's why you see Nigeria is unable to come together to build a country that works for all, like South Africa, where everybody queued behind Mandela, Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. But Nigeria, there was a problem. The South wanted independence. The North said, no, we don't want. We can't go yet. So, and since then, that has laid that laid the foundation for power imbalance in the country. So not to say too much. I feel that our problems are quite minimal. It can be fixed if only we can just come together and agree. Honestly, if we can agree amongst ourselves in Nigeria, honestly, Nigeria will be the leading black nation in the world. But first of all, we have to come together and achieve a common consensus. And you can see what happened in this current in what happened during the February elections. It brought out so many things that have been. In fact, if not for God and everything, this country would have been on another second civil war. In fact, with what this ruling party was doing, the country would have been heading for another bloody civil war. But we thank God that everybody is mature. We are getting there. So what I'll say is we are on a journey to building nationhood. We are on a journey. It's still very far, but the Nigerian state, the leaders, still has a lot to do. In fact, we are very close. But so don't let me, you know, throw too much bullets. Let me just wait till the other party can just come in and, you know, it can go around. So thank you very much. I'll lay my point for the others to come up. Thank you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, John. My brother Niger, finally, I'm seeing your face. We're seeing your face.
Yeah, you see my face.
Well,
I told you I'll come up and show you my face a little bit. But I'll let my other brother go, then I'll go last.
Ah, okay. You want
if he's available. If not, I'll go.
All right. GB, are you there? He's not there.
No.
Oh, he's here. He's here.
I'm here. It means being separated and, you know, being separated and standing on your own. And honestly speaking, as a young guy, I'm only 28, so I wouldn't say I've lived or been a Nigerian for that long. I wouldn't say that. But in my 28, I mean, although I left when I was 17 and I came back when I was 27, so 10 years. I took a 10 years break from Nigeria, but while I've been here, I wouldn't say like we've been totally independent. And this is a statement I want to make. It's a personal opinion. It's not like it's not anything proven. But I would say, according to my own understanding, I think the independence we're experiencing in Nigeria is for rich people, is for people of wealth. Because the people enjoying the wealth of Nigeria currently, they are the people at the top. Whereas, you know, we all know it's an established fact that the gap between the rich and the poor, not only in Nigeria, in Africa, is very huge. It's very the space in between does not make sense. Tell me why this particular people, they are the one enjoying the whole world, easily sell Nigeria and they enjoy the money, and then we at the bottom. I'm not at the bottom in Jesus' name. But anyway, people at the bottom, they're down below and suffering. You know, Nigeria has a lot of God has blessed us with a lot of natural resources, a lot of talent. Now, mind you, one of the reasons why I want to talk about Nigeria has a lot of amazing stuff. So regardless of the fact that our leaders are misusing our natural resources, now, we as young people, the only thing we have right now to survive is our talents. That's why I would also make a statement that as a nation, we are not independent, but individually we are independent. Because, you know, I was talking to my brother John here while, you know, when I came in before this live started, and then he made a comment. He said, "There's nothing that would happen that we as Nigerians will not be okay. We have been through mess. We've been through." In Nigeria, we call it shege. We've been through shege. We've been through embarrassment, but we are still standing. That is why, you know, a lot of us young guys, you know, we went out to ensure that we give power to the right person this time, but it did not go our way. And we just decided that, since it did not go our way, and of course, we cannot lose our life. See, I can assure you, you can go out there, lose your life, nothing will change. So we cannot lose our life. All we need to do is to just endure this. God has always been for us. God will still be for us, regardless of any situation. So independently, you know, as a nation, we celebrated our independence, but I wouldn't say individually we actually did. Me personally, just like I said, it's a personal opinion. I'm not here to argue with anybody. Personally, I did not celebrate any independence. In fact, I've been independent. I celebrated my own independence because I've been independent from my family. And, you know, regardless of what the nation is giving us, regardless of the hardship, I'm using my talent to make sure I survive. And that's what every young guy in Nigeria is doing right now. John told me something a little bit about himself. He said he's a tech guy. What he does is he works from home. You see, what he, you know, as a nation, probably I would say he might not have benefited from the government or from Nigeria, but individually he's using his talent to make sure that, you know, he sees what to eat, to make sure that his daily bread has been provided. And that is what I'm here to celebrate and here to talk about. We as youth, we are doing amazing. We are doing well. We are doing, you know, amazing things. But as a nation, you know, this is why, you know, I really love what Mika is doing right here with One Africa. As a nation, we all know this is why we have a lot of coup d'etats happening around us. I mean, in other African countries, it's because you keep giving power to the wrong people. Although I wouldn't say it's we that keep giving the power. Power is being taken from people. So at this point, I would say we don't even have the right to even choose the person we want to be our president, our leader. So these guys, the people in power, they actually take the right away from us. In fact, the ability to even choose our leaders is being taken away from us. And what do they use to take that away? They're taking away our voice. That is why there are some countries in Africa, they regulate what you post on the internet. You cannot even say anything. And then when you say anything, eventually you are being arrested, you are being punished. And then also in Nigeria, if you start a protest, before you know it, you see military guys around shooting, intimidating you so that you will not stand. That's why most times protest does not last in Nigeria, because nobody is actually willing to lose their life for something. And I don't blame them, because how can you lose your life and after losing your life nothing will change? You will just be mourned for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you're forgotten. So I wouldn't say there's anything independent about Nigeria. If we want to join real countries celebrating independence, we actually need to, the power needs to be taken by the right people. And also there are a lot of policies that need to be re-implemented. There are a lot of nice policies we have in Nigeria, but these policies are not actually working because the people that actually implemented them, they are just there for design and for show. Just there for a lot of recently our president, when he came in power, he introduced the loan. You can actually take a loan to go to school, but it's not working because the requirement for that loan is ridiculous. It's actually for rich people. Meanwhile, you and I were in Korea. Almost everybody we know, our friends, they all went to school through loan. And then you know the loan system in Korea, they have credit card where they can use it to buy whatever they want, like continuously. They always don't lack money. But here in Nigeria, it's only for rich people. Yeah, a lot of requirement that that follows loan and everything. So honestly, for us to actually say we are celebrating independence, a lot of things needs to be re-implemented. Power has to go to the right person, and it's a lot of things to do, man. And I initially wanted to bash Nigeria, but I realized that no, I need the people that actually survive regardless through this situation needs to be celebrated. The young people, the young, during the last election, the young people actually came out they came out to vote. They came out to make sure power. And then if you see, it was actually a very intimidating moment, because it was almost, but not all. I'm not generalizing. It was almost a battle between young people and old people, because old people were like, "Oh, I want to support this guy," and then it almost became a tribal issue, because this guy is a Yoruba guy, I want to support him. This guy is an Igbo guy, I want to support him. Before we're arguing this, and then young people support this guy, old people support this guy. So there's always that barrier when it comes to election. And honestly, the fact that the only reason why there was peace in Nigeria was because the people's favorite, which is Peter Obi, came out and he said everybody should be calm, and that was why there was no much reactions. Even after the tribunal recently, they gave judgment of because the guy went to court, he still said the same thing. And then that's why there are peace. And then you could tell Nigerians are actually, see, we cannot keep dwelling on the past. The election is already a thing of the past. We're focused on our future. We want to ensure that regardless of anything, we have a future. So we are all, we are still here in Nigeria, using our talent to make a name for ourselves. And that's what I want to celebrate.
Wow. I forgot how smart you were, brother. Appreciate for your contribution.
I'll send you the bank account, man. Let me feel my smartness in my bank account, please.
Niger, go ahead, man. Brother. Go ahead.
So I'll give a brief history for all those Africans listening and people in the diaspora listening. Nigeria gained its independence in 1960, and our first president, like John said, was Nnamdi Azikiwe, and he was a civilian ruler that tried to unite Nigeria. Back then, the Igbo tribe, which is where I'm from, in the southeast and south overall, they wanted to be on their own. They wanted to be their own country called Biafra. And he convinced his own tribe, because Nnamdi Azikiwe was also Igbo. He convinced his own tribe, it wasn't easy, that we should all unite and be, one Nigeria. And then from there, after some time, we, just like Burkina Faso, Niger, and, Guinea and Mali have military regime going right now. Nigeria switched to military regime until 1999, was under military rule, until we switched back to the way the Westerners want us to be, which is, democratically elected presidents, which is the kind of regime we're running right now, or system that we're running right now. So Nigeria, 63 years old as of today, as of yesterday, we have independence, but like everybody else have said, we are not seeing the true fruits of that independence. There's a lot of like everybody knows, people talk about corruption, but on the civilian level, which is people scamming people and things like that from Nigeria, but that's not the issue Nigeria as a country it's facing. Nigeria is facing corruption from the top level, and aside from corruption, we are also facing impunity and lawlessness. So when there's impunity and lawlessness in a country, we cannot advance. Our judiciary system cannot function. Our political system cannot function. Governments cannot function. Then that goes down to state politics, local government politics, and then police and military. So there's gonna be bribery going on left and right, and nothing can function the way it's supposed to. So if the leaders on top are doing bad, then the people beneath them are gonna do bad, and just keeps going down. So that's what is holding Nigeria back within the country, right? Now, outside of the country, foreign powers want certain leaders to lead Nigeria. So they'll do whatever they can to put those leaders in place so they can get our resources, they can get the things they want from our region in the world, whether it be military bases or influencing other countries or influencing ECOWAS or influencing Central, whatever the reason is, they will do whatever they can to choose their own leaders. So like the second guy said, the election didn't go quite the way it was supposed to go. We had a record number of voters this time around in the election, and for some reason they still found a way to rig the election and put the people they want to put in place. I remember vividly, I saw this lady, Newland. I forget her first name, but Newland is she has a high position in the US government, and she was talking about how they're gonna help INEC. INEC is the people that conduct our elections. They're gonna help INEC, they're gonna fund them, they're gonna make sure that system is secure, they're gonna make sure everything goes smooth. And as soon as I heard that, I knew they already have their hands in our elections, and that things are not gonna have the best outcome. If they have control over making sure that we're gonna be secure, nobody's gonna be able to hack us, that means they have, like an IT guy listening here, that they have, they have permission. They have permission to change things, within the system. So that also I believe, that is my personal belief, that also contributed to the election not going the way it was supposed to go. Because let me just put things in perspective. The election ran nationwide. The president that we were expecting him to win didn't win. But the people in his party all over the country kept winning. You know, people in lower government, like governors, senates, and stuff like that, kept winning state by state. They had a lot of wins, which is the Labour Party. But when it came to the president, the results flipped. So we know something really happened behind the scenes. And there's no way, you know, they've gone to court, and the courts came up with, you know, useless reasons why the current president should still be the current president. And now they're taking it to the Supreme Court to try to get a new decision made on a higher level. So we're gonna wait on that. But Nigeria being 63 as of now, we are still trying to make our way out to become the country we're supposed to be. Nigeria has, like your brother said, that Nigeria has a lot of talent. Nigeria has one of the smartest people in the world. When it comes to education, when it comes to talent, skill sets, learning, Nigerians are very smart, and you can find them all over the world doing wonderful things, amazing things. So the only way within the country that we are gonna improve is if we can have the true leaders that are supposed to lead our country, and not the puppet leaders that the West wants to control our country.
Yeah, I appreciate for that insight. Well, so basically, from what I've heard from this first question that we've been talking about, what has happened since like 63 years ago until today.
We are talking about Nigeria today.
Exactly. So we have like 3 points, but the first question that I asked that everybody already responded, I would love to hear from you, is about the independence. Like, you know, what does that mean to Nigerian? I mean, and what has been really happening, you know, for the past 63, you know, years that, you know, we will celebrate. That's the first topic, and then we'll go to the second and then the third.
Yeah, the 63 years of, for me anyway, from my understanding of what Nigeria has been now, from the knowledge I've gained in the last 2-3 years, we've been living in a kind of false reality, let's put it that way. We thought we had independence, but we never really did. And there's a lot of people that still, even in Nigeria, that actually think that Nigeria is independent, because their leader told them they are independent. But what they don't realize is that they are basically still an extension of the British state, or empire, as you want to describe it. Is still like that, and our elites are the one keeping it like that. Because what they did was they kind of outsourced everything that in terms of their security and even their financial policies to the West. Even the military regimes, they listen to the West. I think the only military regime in Nigeria that didn't listen to the West was Abacha. And they didn't like him for it. They sanctioned him. And but it didn't matter. He didn't take any IMF loan. He didn't do any of those things. Yet he built more national reserve than the government that came before him, that was following the IMF instructions. So we really haven't had independence, and many of us are beginning to realize the Francophone countries is so clear now. But the same applies to the Anglophones, because they are not exceptionally doing that well, are they? And it's just that the instruments that they used to control the Anglophone countries is a lot more vague. It's under a veil, and people don't see it very much. But in terms of practicalities, in terms of why, you know, Nigeria has been, you know, the way it is right now, you will say we have been basically being bled. Africa has been being bled. You know, all our resources, it's not because we are not working, we are working. And the wealth flows to the West because of the policies of our elites that are in connivance with their former overlords. So that is where we have been. And it's almost like a child living in a building. All you see is the ceiling. And if your leaders or your parents don't tell you that there's a sky out there, you will not know. And the consciousness of Nigerians is basically that, oh, Europeans are benign, they are nice people, and they help fund our nations. They are basically our masters, and that is the kind of portrayal our leaders give to our people. They don't necessarily tell them that, you know, we are in this world to compete with other people. We have a right to be in this world like other people. And we have to realize that no other person is going to do it for us. We have to fight for ourselves. They don't tell us that. The speech the president made at the UN, half of that, if he just tweaked that speech a little bit and told Nigerians that, he will unite Nigerians more. But he will never do that. He will never do that. Because nothing unites the people more to realize that they have a challenge to meet out there. But instead, what they tell our people is, oh, we are diverse, we want to live in peace. And some people thought we are going to break up as a nation, but we didn't. We are still here. But whom are these people? What is going on? You can't just make vague statements, then just make vague policies and pretend as if you are making a change, but nothing really changes. This has been the name of the game in Nigeria for a long time. And that is the illusion we've been living in for the last 63 years. And for me, the epiphany came when I realized how underdefended all the black nations, in short, almost all the black territories in the world is. It was so stark. It's not only about money now. You know, you can say, okay, yeah, we're not rich. Say, fine. Then why are we not defended at all? There are other poor countries out there. India was poor once. If you go back in time, they are all of them, their security level was very different from what you see in African countries today. All of them. India, China, Vietnam, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, all of them, even Sri Lanka, all of them. But you go to African countries, you're like, what is going on here? And it's because many of them have outsourced their security to Europeans. How can you do that for a 1-point-something billion people? We are one of the 4 great races on earth that amounts to over 1 billion. And we are the only ones that don't have any protection. This is the reason why we have been living under, and it's because of this illusion they put over us. Most of our people don't realize. Nobody's talking on our behalf. Nobody. Nobody's defending us. Nobody's telling. Are you telling me the Chinese, the Asians, they have a nuclear umbrella? The Europeans have a nuclear umbrella. The Indians have a nuclear umbrella. But only us just hang around and nobody's protecting us. No soldiers, nothing. No organization. You see the ECOWAS now. ECOWAS is just basically a tool for the West. We thought we had ECOWAS for our own protection. When I asked a former presidential candidate, Prince Adewale, the other day about this, I said, why is it that we don't have military alliances? You know, if you go on the list of military alliances in the world, there is barely one African country listed there. Not one. But you see all of them, other parts of the world, they're all forming alliances. They're all ganging up against each other, ganging up against us. But we just remain separate and weak. I said, well, how can we have ECOWAS, but we don't have defense pacts amongst ourselves? Because if you have defense pact amongst yourselves, you are going to prevent coups just by doing that. That is one of the advantages of having defense pacts among nations. Because a coup is an attack on a nation. It means anybody that attacks, anybody that tries to overthrow any government, the other nations will step in and stop it from happening. That enforces stability. But no, they don't do it. You know what the Prince Adewale said? He said, because the Francophone countries have defense pacts with the French, so they couldn't exactly, the generals couldn't exactly come up with a defense pact that works, because the French are going to be against it. Then it occurred to me now that, okay, Niger has kicked the French out. Burkina Faso has kicked the French out. Mali has kicked the French out. Is this not an opportunity for Nigeria and the Anglophone countries to move in and say, let's seal this one up and form a defense pact with them too? So that you, at least you've taken that one off the column of the French permanently. But instead, Nigerian president wants to do the job of the foreigners and go and attack these people. The only reason why he has not done it, because Nigerians are against it. Everybody's against it. Literally, everybody's against it. He couldn't get anybody to agree to it, apart from these sellout leaders. These sellout leaders. That is the problem we are facing. And if the same thing applies in East Africa, the same thing applies in Central Africa, Southern Africa, and maybe to an extent in Northern Africa. We are so disorganized. These our leaders. They are horrible people. I tell you, they are some of the most. See, how can you be in a continent? You see a massive population of people that don't have a future. There is no research base in Africa. If research often points the direction of the future where your people are going, there's no massive technological base among the black sub-Saharan Africa. There's no security defense packs amongst them. But yet you have security organizations. Then who are the security organizations for? Whenever you want to carry out an organization, you have to go to UN and they give you money. Then you go and help your own people. It means that organization is not for your people. This is all the revelations that you start understanding that, oh my God, these people have been selling us out all this while and we didn't know. And many of them, even Ruto and Kagame, all of them, they will be talking this thing. Oh, we don't want the West to tell us what to do and all the rest. Don't talk. Do. Get stuff done. Okay, I have defense alliances amongst your East African community. Have defense alliance so that nobody, because the moment you do that, any country that wants to use military blackmail on you or security blackmail on you, they're going to think twice. Your people will have their own voice. But these leaders, they don't do it. They keep their people weak and talk a lot. That is not, if you look at how other people, that's not how they behave. Whenever they want to do something, they will do a lot before they even talk a lot. They will get things done. They will, oh my, these people, the other people, they are very, very, I don't know how to describe it. They are so paranoid about their safety. Those people, it's almost like they feel like they have to survive one way or the other. They don't care. But our leaders, their whole priority is, their whole world is under the Western, this in, a kind of influence. That's all they believe in. And to me, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. How many times have you seen like Ruto, even Kagame and Biya, all of them going to the Chinese, China to talk, and India, let's think of how we are going to cooperate with you. Their world seems to revolve around IMF and World Bank. But that is not the only world that exists. Other people have other options. Even Israel had to do things in its own way once. Israel was under sanction. They had to fight for themselves, but they left us. They tell us that now and again, you see one of them say all these colonizers are trying to oppress us here, this. But look at your country. Have you seen Chongqing in China? If you see Chongqing, when I look at what those people have done with the city, I said, look at development. The whole world is moving on. Our African leaders, they can't build anything. They can barely build a train line without needing help. And yet you have billions of people, that over 1 billion people at your disposal. And this is overground train line, no. There are people building underground. North Koreans, they were about 10 million in population. 80% of their national structures were completely destroyed after the Korean War. Within 4 years, they built an underground in their capital 100 meters underground. 4 years it took them to do that. But in Nigeria, it takes 11 years to build an overground train line in Lagos, and it's not even that extensive. And we are over 200 million in population in that country. We couldn't even get that done, and it was foreigners that did it for us. Why did not Koreans did it themselves? And that was somewhere in the 60s. What is wrong with us? Why? That should tell you something is wrong. If a government wants to do the right thing by their people, you'll be surprised how fast things develop. They will develop when Lee Kuan Yew took office in Singapore, very, very quickly you will see the change. When people mean business to build something, human beings are very capable. I've seen militaries that can build a bridge and take it down within a week. They will build a kilometer-long bridge within a week and take it down. Military can do that. But Africans, it's almost as if anything we do, oh, no, we want to build a road. Oh, no, we have to go and call the Chinese, and the money will be embezzled first, then they wait for the next 5 years, then they start again, and then they embezzle it again. It's like, these people are not, it's almost, I call them caretaker governments. They are pretending as if they are ruling us, but they are just keeping us weak asleep. That's what they are.